Hey everybody, we are teaching Tilt Brush, and this Tilt Brush episode is welcoming a new group to our Tilt Brush family. That's right, Tilt Brush has finally been released on the PlayStation VR. Yes, any PlayStation owners with a PSVR, you now have access to the Tilt Brush program. So we're going to spend today talking a little bit about how those people are going to be experiencing, hopefully you people, are experiencing Tilt Brush. Now here in this video series, most of what we do is on the PC, on the computer, through Steam VR. But we also have a version of Tilt Brush specifically made for the Quest small home VR headset. This is the same system that they brought over to Sony and the PlayStation VR. So while many of the things, everything is going to work on the PC, there are a few of our tools that don't really work quite as well on the Quest or the PlayStation because of that. Get that behind me. Oops, not the whole room. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking at what makes the PlayStation a little bit different than the PC. What are the limitations it's got versus what we talk about here in these lessons. So let me get rid of all this. So all of your main tools do exist and work the same way. So you still have brushes, you still have your main controller. You're using the PlayStation Move controllers that look like they're ice cream cones. They still have triggers and grips and thumb pads and buttons, so all the main controls will still work the same way. The PlayStation Move controllers adapt very well to Tilt Brush. One of the things that does not translate well are the more advanced extra special tools. The ones that don't work on the Quest also don't work on PlayStation. The big important ones include our lovely Sphere Maker. This is one of our favorites to use here, but unfortunately Quest and PlayStation can't do the automatic sphere. You can use the Sphere Guide, so you can still paint spheres that way. So you could go to your guides and pull up the Sphere Guide. This guide does exist on the PlayStation, and now I can paint using that sphere. The PlayStation at this point does not have the ellipsoid guide either. That's another thing the Quest I don't believe has yet either. So we don't have the sphere tool or the ellipse guide. You do have the sphere guide, so at least you can draw spheres that way. Another fun feature that is lacking: no audio tools. So the audio brushes that dance to the music, since there aren't multiple programs at once on the PlayStation, you don't have a music player going at the same time, so you can't have the audio brushes reacting. Quest and PlayStation are lacking these as their main differences. Almost every other tool still works the same way. So you can still paint stuff, we just can't use those extra special abilities at the same time. PlayStation can connect to Poly. So you can share your stuff with other people. I got my P backwards there, didn't I? No, that's right. So the poly.google.com, if your PlayStation can connect to the internet through your home network, you can log on to Poly and share, both put your artwork up there, but also like somebody else's artwork, and then have access to it within your environment. So the PlayStation is compatible with these ways of sharing your information. Poly is possible, that one is okay. Like the Quest, PlayStation doesn't have quite as much memory as the big PCs do. So you may get that low memory warning a little sooner on the PlayStation than you would on a PC. You can still work with it. And as you know, in our settings, you can actually adjust how much power do you want the program to use, how much do you want it to warn you before it actually starts to cut you off, that type of thing. So there are some controls to work with what you got. One other note about a lot of PlayStation users is quite often they don't have a large room space to work with like I do here. Quite often their gaming console is part of an entertainment area like a living room, so they may not have as much open space. So get used to using your limited space controls, your movement controls to get around, and your move the environment controls to bring those pieces close to you when you want to work on those details. All of those things help make it easier, so on a PlayStation you're not trying to do too much for what the console can handle. But it is now available. Since it's got VR, this is a great VR tool. So ever since March of 2020, PlayStation now has Tilt Brush in its store. I hope to see you guys in Poly to some of the stuff you create, because all you guys are just as creative as all the Quest and PC users, so let's see what you got. Thanks for joining us, and hopefully this will inspire you with some questions and some ideas of things to try. If you have any questions, feel free to let us know in the comments. Subscribe. And also let us know if there's any tools you have trouble with, or if there are things that don't seem to work on the PlayStation like it does in some of these videos here. We want to make sure these videos are accurate and helpful for what you want to do. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. Have fun with Tilt Brush.